Okay, Kings out. Making this video to show you the baseline of when I buy a new computer. So this is today, the 7th of October 2025 at 8:45 in the evening Eastern Standard Time. This is the time that I'm making this video. And I'm going to show you something. So I'm going to come up here. You see I got all these plants. I'm going to harvest 50 of them and show you how fast I can harvest them and how fast I can apply using the onboard mouse. I don't have my regular mouse with me. So using an onboard mouse, I'll show you. And we're going to come back in around approximately, so the plan is to come back and do this again in 1 year time or close to 1 year's time. Maybe even do it sooner if it gets severely, but I'm talking about happens again, once again, on this, now my 4th computer, since I've noticed this problem. So last 3 computers I've had this problem, and I'm going to put money on that it's going to happen on this one eventually. And it always happens within the first, starts happening within a few months and gets really bad by the time you get a year out. Okay, my last computer got so bad so fast, I haven't had that one for a year when it broke and I had to get a new one. So, which is why I have this new computer. So we're going to show you here. So look, see how fast I'm doing it? Basically as fast as I can hit the X button, it's harvesting the plant. You know, no lag while doing it. You know, it's just really easy, really smooth, no problems going on. Boom. You know, like maybe like 15-20 seconds. Alright, now let's plant them. Alright? And the slag is always in all areas of the garden. So look how it's good. Like, you know, look at that. A little bit of slow down there. Boom. But like 2 seconds max. Boom. Planted. Boom. Don't have, you know, within a year it's not going to be doing that. It's going to be like 15-20 seconds to do plant those seeds. Let's go here. So this is going to be my first time doing this on this computer. So get our needs on there. So light them up, boom. Alright, let's get some movement that you can see what's going to go on. You might get like, same thing, 1 or 2 seconds of lag. Yep, see, 1 or 2 seconds of where it freezes up. That's it. Alright, that's manageable. That's nothing, you know, like, that's not like bad. But within a year, I will put money on that it will probably be getting up there to about 20-25 seconds to do that. And that's a problem. I've emailed you about this problem. You ignore this problem as you ignore many problems that this game has. And when people contact you about it, your answer is not, we'll look into it. It's, you even want to do something. Oh, we need information that only someone who has skills as a developer would understand and know how to get. So your request for the things that you ask for will do. You say, hey, there's a problem. Almost always comes down to a gatekeeping thing. Oh, yes, you gotta give us this information, but you have no way, you don't know what that information, how to get that. You don't have the tools to get it. Like, you ask for that stuff not because you need it, but because you know 99.99% of players will have no way of understanding how to get that. And so that gives you a way to ignore the problem. Or the other thing is you make up ridiculous things. It's like, you know, or ignore that. You just simply ignore us altogether. I've sent tickets and I've never got a response back. It's ridiculous. You know, or you say, we can't replicate it. Okay, for example, in fact, we'll make that part of this video as well. So let's swap over to my ice. I sent another issue that I sent you a ticket on that he basically came back with BS and said, oh, we can't replicate the problem is with Decathon decks. I tried crafting several decks, and I'm now down to like... I've tried this 7 times now, and it's refused to create it. So look here. Ice Decathon deck 1. 22 of them. 408 fire runes. No Decathon deck 2. Now let's try this. Okay, it worked that time. I think I took everything out. Alright, yeah. Okay. Now I want to show you something. Now recently I cleared out all my decks, and I think that's what it is. I think having TC in my stored in my decks, because we don't have enough inventory room. And I just recently, so we'll put one little itsy bitsy TC in there. Now let's squash this. I bet you anything it won't do it now. Oh no, it did. Okay, interesting. That's weird. Okay, I guess whatever. It looks like that problem got fixed by changing computers, but it doesn't fix them. But I still haven't had the issue resolved where I've had 7 attempts to craft these deck 2 decks that each and every one of them used up my resources, my runes, but did not give me the decks. So it appears that on this computer the problem is resolved, but I still not have gotten appropriate compensation for the problem. So let's see here, 3. Let's try to create some room here. Create. What do we need for 5? 3. 6. Need a 4. Alright, so get to 8. Oh, I don't have 7 on that list. So let's go to 7. Six, maybe we can do 6, I guess. Alright. How much will that free up? It'll get me down to 225. That's pretty bad. But alright, but that's what. I should have tried this. I wish I could have tried it on my last computer, but unfortunately it broke before I could try it without TCing. But I think that's what the problem is. But I have not yet been compensated for the 15 times 7 fire runes, which, as you can see there, I am out of fire runes, and unless I have more on other characters, and I still have. Look at all these decks that I can get started. Like, that's something doing with like this stuff. Like I wish I can craft all this, but it takes so much time and effort to get the resources. By the time you get it, you've forgotten where you're at in crafting it, and you can never know. Okay, maybe do I have this particular, like for example, to make. Is it the one? So where's the one for everything? For example, let's say if I want, I already crafted this. Let's say I got to the point where I want to, craft the spear version, ultimate one. Like, how do I know if I've crafted one of these and if I have, where it is? Because that is a problem with the current system. Like, this is the third problem that I have with KI. when the game first came out, the idea was, back in 2008, the idea is you created a character, you played that character. There wasn't the idea that a player would have multiple characters. And you know that because the game is not designed for multi-charactering. By that, here's how you know it wasn't designed. See, if I was creating a game and the goal was, hey, we want our players to create more than one character and play those characters and do things with the characters, guess what I'm going to do? I'm not going to have a inventory and a bank and a shared bank system. I'm going to have a character with equipped slots and then inventory. So let me explain this. I will say, okay, I'm questing on my fire, I get a drop. Boom. I go, man, this item is great for my fire. I equip it. When I equip it, it takes it out of my inventory and equips it on my character. But conversely, I say, oh, hey, I'm questing my fire. I find this out. Oh, it's not good for my fire. Oh, that'd be great for my eyes. Okay? This is a system that was designed for multi-charactering. Would work like this. I would not need to go into put it into a shared bank, go on my ice, and pull it out of the shared bank. It would be I log out of my fire, I log into my ice, and it's sitting right there in the inventory. Characters would share the same inventory. That is a system that is designed for multi-characters. Another way you can see that this is not designed for multi-charactering is the friends list. If I was creating a game with the intention that you would have more than one character and you're playing them, guess what I would do? You friend someone on your fire, they're friends with you on your ice, and you're friends with them on their fire and their ice or whatever. Basically, you friend the count, not the character. A game that does this and does so brilliantly is Elder Scrolls Online. They've done this from the beginning. You have your character name and your ant name. Now, I disagree with how that they give your ant name to be public information. I would not have allowed that to be public information, since that's how you log in. But the system is that you friend the character, you find someone you like, you friend them. It doesn't matter what character you're on, what character they're on, you guys are friends. Same thing with guilds, which they kind of managed a way to do that in this game in a convoluted manner. And it's not too bad, because then you can have, because with the same, it's not like atrocious, but like it kind of a convoluted way of doing what Elder Scrolls did, where you can join in Elder Scrolls. You join a guild. All your characters are in that guild, and you can join up to 5 guilds at one time, and you can freely join and leave. And that shows me that the developers of ESO have a little bit more brain power, unfortunately, than the ones at KI. Because they're not thinking about what makes sense, what is logical, what is effective. They're saying, oh man, let's just do something. In fact, another problem I have with the guilds in this game is this. Alright, I'm going to show you here. If I designed the guild system, what I would do is I would go, okay, hey, cool, you got an island here. I would go over here and say, okay, players who unlock, boom, this island. This would not be just another area, adding more area to this zone. It would be its own zone. And the reason why I say that is simply this. It would make things neater, more organized, and allow more customization of the guild by the guildmate. For example, if I had all the area unlocked, so let's assume I have 400 inventory stuff. That's not a lot of items to craft additional areas with the housing items to get a guild to do all the things that I think a guild should be able to do. And that's a big problem I have with this. Like, I don't have a problem with it's time consuming, it's grueling, and unfortunately it shows that KI doesn't understand how guilds work. Like 99.99999% of the time, It is one person and one person only. The person, usually the person who created the guild, that's doing all the work of upgrading the guild. For example, I'm currently, I kind of stopped managing my guild in terms of managing population because I can't get more people, and I don't want to drop the total count to a point where you're not even feasible. But you look at this: 32 out of 60 people, and at least probably at least 7 of those is my character or my account or my alternative accounts that I use to store treasure cards. So almost a quarter of the guild population in terms of accounts is mine, and I am the only one that's really donated. I think one other person has donated Azov to upgrade in this place. Most of the Azov has come from me. For example, I'm the sole one that has done the unlocked the Alpha Guild Crafter and the Beta Crafter. Only some of the Azov for the other areas that I'm still trying to get 10 people online at one time to unlock, and it'll probably be done if I somehow manage to find some way to log into 10 accounts at one time to do it. Which I am, well, let's see here. I think I'm at 7 right now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, yeah, I got 8 accounts that are high enough to join guilds. So 2 more accounts and I would be theoretically able to unlock it myself. But that's just me showing that is what happens with guilds. Like guilds are not this, oh hey, 50, 60 people come into join the guild and they all contribute. That's the minority, like extreme minority. Majority of the time it is one individual or 2 individuals maybe that are participating and engaging in helping the guild grow. And another thing too, like, and one thing that really kills me is I've had some people, and I think they probably laughed as a result of me telling them no, which is not. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. It's just, like I just find that, I've had multiple people who have accepted joining, and then they ask for decorating permissions, and I have to tell them no for this simple reason. If I give them decorating permissions, they can go in here and be like, okay, I'm going to trash that, and I'm going to trash that, I'm going to trash that. So basically what I would have to do if I did is I would have to come in every single day and check the trash. Oh, did they delete it, put anything in the trash on, because one of the most common things is for people to join a guild and then trash what the items of the guild has, like, have value. And they do that, because like, you got to remember, people are intrinsically evil and not intrinsically good. That is the Bible is completely predicated on that concept. People in their natural state are evil. They will hurt other people for their own benefit, or even just simply to hurt other people. It is the exception that a person would sacrifice themselves for the greater good. That is the exception. That is why we put those type of people on pedestals and raise them up as these heroes, because that is the exception and not the norm. And unfortunately, like, you have, especially when you're doing things where you're trying to get people to work together and do things together, you have to put in things. So, for example, what I would rather do is I would rather have it where I could give someone permission to decorate in as long, but they only have the means of managing the items in decorating form and not being able to trash them, because it would be much easier to just simply readjust where things are at rather than having to try to figure out, okay, oh, they deleted this item, I gotta go farm that again, or I gotta craft it again at an immense cost. So like, basically what I'm getting at there is, give us more nuanced management tools, the guild. And I would say one thing I really think about guilds is I would find it beneficial for guilds to be able to upgrade themselves. Like, it makes sense, like, it makes sense to me. Like, to me, this is the way I would do it. I would say, 50 people limit when you first create the guild. Boom, okay. And then, some crown cost to upgrade and increase the number of players you can have. I would even have it where you can have automatic management tools. For example, hey, we're going to have a guild fee. With that come a guild bank where, okay, you say, hey, every week or every month or whatever, you can set an interval, so like every day, every week, every month, every year, whatever. You say you're required to donate something to the guild. It could be, okay, hey, every year you got to donate 999 A's off to the guild. Something like that. You can get that in, a couple of hours or so of, doing things. Or it could be 250 crowns, to help us, reach their next level. They give player, like this would guild management system where you can upgrade it, where you can have tools that manage the guild for you, can put requirements. That way, hey, you say, hey, you've been in the guild for a year. Hey, it's time for dues again. There's because I just not getting the benefit from the guild. I'm gonna leave. Or hey, I ain't getting benefit from the guild. Okay, I don't pay. And simply the amount of the guild dues that would then create, instead of like popular guilds, they can use that as a tool for being able to upgrade faster than other guilds and have an interest in it. Those who are actually willing to be in the popular guild would probably be willing to pay a little bit more, right? So free guilds would then have no cost of membership or very low. Popular guilds would have it's fairly high relatively. So that creates a system of supply and demand, market economics into the guild function. I would even add like things, and said, like I mentioned, making all these things their own zones. If you did that, you could add a lot more features to guilds. For example, one thing I would do is especially with this the fact that they implemented these limits on the number of reagents and resources and all that you have. Now you have players who have basically no incentive to do things like garden, except for like to get event points from like Beast Moon or like that for gardening. So it's not, or to get a little bit of gold. It's like the main purpose of the gardening for like for snacks is worthless for them because they have so many snacks that they're at the limit and they're just getting more. It's just being wasted. And so a solution I can come up with for that is you have an island in your guild for gardening. But it would only work if it's his own zone. So you have in there, you go in there, you have an island of gardening, his own. You can have it where you can have a lot more plants than in your own house. Or you can have, or you can have it where it's broken up into smaller subzones in that zone, so that and then you can have it. So you go into each zone could have a limit of say we'll say 100. Say you go have gardening island. Go to the island. There's different zones. And each one you have to unlock. So you start off base zone. You have one. You can plant 150 plants there. Then you can unlock a second zone under that, and then you can plant 150 there, and so you can grow the number of areas, and you have it where you go in there. You donate seeds. You plant those seeds, and they go into basically a guild seed vault. So when someone harvests the seeds, instead of going to your inventory, it goes into the guild vault. And then when they want to replant it, they spend their energies to replant the seeds. And you go from there. And that actually would, be beneficial to me, because then I could take all my magma seeds that I have, I can put them in, I would donate them to my guild if you had that system. And I would be like, hey, dude, if you need pet snacks, go to the guild, harvest some plants, get your snacks that you need. And then even if they don't want to plant them, I'm not gonna be upset, because guess what? This is just 292, and that's just one of my characters. I have multiple characters that are over 250 max energy. I rarely ever change out of my energy gear, except for when there's no content that I need the gear for to actually go and quest. But like last week, I wasn't changing out of my energy gear to go join team ups for the event. I was doing it in my energy because it was easy fight. I can buff someone else. So like a lot of time I'm not burning that energy, so I'm wasting the energy. So like me being to go in there and say, okay, hey, people harvested the seeds, I'm gonna spend my energy. That gives me a way to spend my energy and getting a use out of it, even if it's a use to help my allies. That would be a benefit to me and to my guildmates, and I would love to do that. It gets the seeds in play. It makes it more central. Like, they can level up their gardening that way. Or if I'm making a new character, then they can level up their garden. It would make it so much better overall. It's like, to me, that's really what you want. A guild should be people coming together to do things together. Like, like right now the way guilds work is you're just 2 individuals or 3 individuals or whatever number of people you have in your guild, just doing their own little thing. The only thing you're really doing together is you got the museum unlocked, and you go do the museum thing, or you go do if you got raid trial, maybe you go do a raid. But those are minor specific events. Like, a guild should be a lot more. A guild should be you coming together and doing things, building a community. But right now, a lot of the things that you can do in a guild only benefit people who are in a guild with a stranger. And really, that's really what that's one thing that gets me on to one thing I've noticed. It seems like a lot of the non-story stuff getting added is not to help the community of Wizard101. It's to help the streamers. For example, who benefits the most from guilds? Streamers. Because that's how streamers goes. Oh, hey guys, we're gonna go do a raid today. Boom. They get you get all these people. Because the people who are in these streams with these streamers communicating with joining their guilds. Guess what? Those are among the most active players. So you got this guy say, hey, I'm in my guild, and I'm a streamer. That all my streamer fans are joined. Hey, we're going to be doing this raid. Boom. They got their 12 people easy because they're going to be in their chat, and so they're going to be saying, hey man, I can do this activity with this streamer. So streamers benefit a lot from guilds. Pretty much everyone else doesn't, and you can see that. You can tell the majority of the people who are in guilds are in a guild with a streamer. Not all, but a significant number. And the ones that are popular, definitely. And you can see it. Like, who's talking about creating guilds, streamers? You don't see random people in games like, hey man, I'm creating a guild today. No, it is streamers creating guilds for their stream fans to participate with them in. Cantrip chess. I actually brought this up in one of the few KI lives that I can make anymore because just scheduling and all that. And I said, hey, look, it's impossible for most people to open a cantrip chest. Like, there's so many ways they could have done cantrip chests that would not make it an unachievable item for 99.99% of the player base. The only people who reliably can go around and open cantrip chests are one or two types of people. Either streamers who can say, hey, let's go spend an hour opening cantrip chests. But then they do it, and then someone drops out, they get someone else and say, hey, all right, I'm coming. You're like, so streamers, very easy for them to open cantrip chests. And the other is people who have real life friends who play the game, which is basically means teenagers or very young adults. Because generally, once you get past around 25, life has hit a lot of people. They're not playing as many games as much, or if they're doing, they're playing their own games, and their friends are playing other games. So middle-aged and older adults, unless they're a streamer or something, they don't have this cadre of friends that are playing the game with them that they can go, hey man, let's go spend an hour and open up cantrip chests and burn some energy. They don't have that. The normal, everyday player, and anything you add to the game should be achievable and acquirable by the everyday average player. They don't have the tools and the means to go get people. Because guess what? I can guarantee you can go to comments on any zone in any server, and I guarantee you will not get anyone, or at most you'll get one person after hours of searching that will show an interest in opening cantrip chests in any road. Then when you start talking about specific roads, that will reduce. So the way cantrip chests work is they're benefiting only really majority of the time only the streamers. And there's ways you can do it. For example, if they, if I send the cantrip to open the chest, I should be able, if they really were serious about people opening them, this is how they would work. If you go into an instance, change zones, log out, and it gets open, you still get the rewards. If they were serious about it being for everyone, that's how it worked. This whole idea that you have to be online, in that area, not in an instance, in order for you to get rewards, that puts a barrier where the only people who are able to get it and unlock it are those who have the people immediately there and they're ready to open it up, i.e. the streamers. And unfortunately, the KI devs, I hate to say this, they don't have the brain power to realize this. And you see this because you can think anything that KI does, and you can almost bet money on it that will half-ass it. Set bonuses. Like, I have no idea why they decided to add sets ever into the game, because it does not match in with how they do gear. But, I was like, man, that would be an interesting idea. If you're going to add set bonuses, that means you're going to change up how you do gear. And I thought of all kinds of ways they could do set bonuses in the game. But what did they do? They literally added like 3 sets of 3 gear. One of them was practical, and the rest locked behind paywall, which I don't have a problem with. It's business. But they literally added something like only 3 sets, and then never since then have they added sets. So basically, the last 4 or 5 years since they did that, they have not added any new gear with set bonuses, which is idiotic in my estimation. To put in that time and effort to put in set bonuses, and one, you don't even implement it in a logical way, and then 2, then you don't ever do anything with it further. Or when's the last time you've seen gear with stun resistance, pretty much non-existent. You know, like or you take pip conservers. Like pip conserve, when they added pip conserver, I thought they're bang, and that's brilliant. You know, there's so much you could do with it. Like, but then they were like, you know what? The things that would benefit from pip conversion, we're just gonna make it work this way, so, and completely bypass even the need for pip conversion, because you don't need pip conversion for as your normal spell. Most fights are you're just going to use a rank 7 AoE, which will use the white pip that you get from your deck, and then your fight's over. You know, so there's not this huge need for pip conserve in battles overall. The only place where you would run into it is areas where you're dealing with pip manipulation. So the occasional boss in PvE or minion that has a pip manipulation spell, but majority of it is going to be in PvP. Well, guess what? Let's say you get hit with mana burn. What they do is they go, oh, mana burn, remove 3 pips. Okay, we're going to remove 1 power pip and convert 1 power pip into a white pip. Okay, that's, first of all, that is not removing 3 pips. And second of all, why do you need to code the spell to do it that way when you have pip conserve, which would literally be like, oh hey, he has 3 power pips, no white pips, you hit him with power and burn, boom. Still pip 1, check, pip conserve, 0%, still the power pip, 100% pip conserve, power pip conserve now changes to a normal pip. Oh, 1 to 99% RNG, which way it happens. And then you go on to pip 2, pip 3, you do that, and you know that's very fast on the computer. So it would be almost instantaneous. It makes that calculation, and you know, okay, you have 50%, maybe you get 2 white pips and lose a power pip, or you'll get 3 white pips, or you lose them all. You know, like, that gives you RNG, and now it gives a focus on, okay, hey, now I'm going into PvP. Pip conservation is important, because if I have 0, then I can lose all my power pips to pip manipulation. You know, and then you gotta go for 100%. Then I'm giving up stats somewhere else. So now you have to find the perfect balance of all your stats, including pip conserve. You know, what is the best? Is it best to have 50% or 70% or 100%? You would have to figure that out. You know, and that provides variety of builds in terms of how you attribute your stats. You know, but okay, I was like, nah, that makes too much sense. You know, that we're not going to do that. We're just going to remove the defensive need for pip conserve in favor of just making it automatic, so everybody gets it without having to make that choice. Which is a big problem. Is that KI they say so much they want to make things about strategy and tactics, but then they take all that away. You know, strategy and tactics, you would be like, okay, you had different gear sets. Okay, you go with this gear set, and, you know, you get more stun resist. And this one, you get more, resist or whatever. You know, but they don't want to make those choices, those decisions, those effects. You know, for example, you know, like they really want to make this game more tactical and strategic, implement more actual alternative gears. The two right now they give us 2 gear options in the last couple rows, and I don't find any comparison between them. You know, like the difference between the stats greatly favors for example, going with the the Reaver gear over the other set. You know, like, I mean, I'm sorry, but this is I see no value of giving up the damage boost that you get in crit and pierce that you get with this in favor for Shadow Pit. You know, the only place that would make any sense to use would be PvP, but even then, the best, from what I've seen, the best PvP gear is your raid gear, which goes back to, the advantage that streamers get, because streamers are the only ones who can really get the numbers to go and do a raid. And they're the only, it's like, you go at like everything that they've been adding to this game in the last 3 years, minimum, if not more, has been what gives benefits to streamers over everybody else. They don't make things available to the wider game population. They only make it seem that it's available, but when you actually go to, okay, how do you access, how do you get it, how do you do it? And it's always, you gotta have a group of people, but you can't get it. Like, for example, if I was to imagine get 2 people, which in the years that Cantor's come out, I've like only twice I've gotten people to go open Cantor chests through asking in game. Majority of the Cantor chests I've opened is going to a stream and be like, hey, does anybody want to go open Cantor chest? But you get to get. Who's getting the advantage? People who stream. So like, and in each one of those 2 cases where I got them in the game, it took me hours. And at most, I maybe got 4 chests open up. Because what do? They open up a chest, maybe open a second chest, and then they're gone. So I get game, I open up the chest, I got the chest, I'm done. Like, people in this game have no concept of what it actually means to go and farm something. Like, for example, in Outer Scrolls, I remember when Outer Scrolls first came out with their champion system. It's like, here's the big thing. People was going out and farming XP just to get their champion points up. And guess what? You didn't go, hey, let's go do a XP farm. Go run over someplace, do it for 5 minutes, and then you're done. If that's what you do, you're like, hey, I'll join your XP farm. And you go in for 5 minutes, you're gonna be like, I thought you said you wanted to farm. Like, you would literally go run an XP farm for an hour plus. Like, you're actually farming. It was more than just going over there, getting a few kills, and leave. You're farming. You're actually, you're putting in time and effort to do it. It wasn't just doing it for 5 minutes. You're doing it for an hour, 2 hours. You're actually grinding. You're actually putting in effort. You're working at getting something. It wasn't just a little token, but that's what all you really see in this game. But it's like the devs have no concept of this. It's like a foreign concept to them. It's like so many other things. Like I've lost count of the things that I have like pointed out. Like either Wizard doesn't do it all, or they don't do it in the way that it would make sense. And it's just like I get the feeling that the devs have never actually played a MMO other than Wizard101. Ratbeard. I do not see Ratbeard have ever played an MMO RPG other than Wizard101. Okay, he may play other games, but I don't see him playing an MMO RPG other than Wizard1, because he is one of the head developers, at the very least, not the head developer. So that means all these decisions of how they implement things come down to him. And I know he banned me from his stream because I literally pointed out that the way that things are implemented is done with a lack of intelligence. And so that he banned me from his stream because I insinuated that the devs are dumb. Which in my opinion, if you get offended by someone saying what you do is dumb, that's not an indication that the person is wrong. That's an indication the person is right. Because guess what? I don't get, if someone calls me dumb and I know I'm not dumb, guess what? I don't get offended by it. I actually get to laugh. I laugh about it. It's like, oh, this guy thinks I'm dumb. You know, like that's when you actually, honestly, when you know that you ain't dumb, things that people say about you don't matter. I get people who make fun of me all the time. You know, adults, kids, it don't matter. And guess what? I don't let it affect me. The way I see it, and if you're affected by what someone says to you, that's your conscience telling you that what they're saying is right and true. Because that's the only reason why you need to be offended. People who know the truth, and the truth is not what people are saying about them, they don't get offended by things that people say about them that's false. You only get offended at what people say about you if you know that is true. It's here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, put that down. 5, 6, 7, 8. And managing my inventory like this, that gets me to another thing. KI, please change up how housing items done. There's nothing I find like. Please make housing items work like this. Their own inventory, completely and utterly separated from normal inventory. Like, make it where basically you find a housing item, it goes to your housing item, it's available in all characters, because the way housing items works right now, there is no logical way that I could implement it to be able to create things to design. Like, I've started so many projects, and then I just have to scrap them because you get to a point. Okay, man, I need this item. I need that item. I don't have it. I gotta go. Oh, if I have it, it's on another character, then there's no way for me to move it over because I got so much in the inventory. Like, my shared bank is pretty much full of items that sit there because, like, I don't have a character right now that needs them, but I need them somewhere central where, okay, I do need it, okay, I can go over there and get it on this character. And like, if they really wanted housing to be this thing that these people are creating projects and making unique houses, guess what you need? I need to be able to go get a housing item on this character, it's available on this other character, without me having to jump through hoops, which is, again, you know, how they manage it, do the inventory in this game is completely and utterly stupid. But give us the tools and the means to actually, you know, like, I've made a lot of space on my characters last couple weeks because I just moved everything over to my fire and then just shoved it all randomly in houses. So now I've got all these housing items. Guess what? I'll never use them for anything. Because if there was a use, I'm not going to even remember that I have it because it's off in some dark corner in a random house. And if I did say, hey, I want to use it, I would have to go search for it. And by the time I search for it and find it, the effort and time to find it will have pushed out whatever idea I had for it out of my mind. Because a big part of creativity is in the moment. Oh man, I had this inspirational idea how to use this item. Oh, let me go get that item. Oh, there it is. Oh, and what was I gonna do? Man, I don't remember. Like, that is the problem with like creativity. Like creativity requires being in the moment, having it available in the moment. Not, oh, I have this idea. Let me go farm that item and get it, and then move it to like that. Just doesn't work. That kills creativity. And so, like the way they do inventory management in this game, in general, and specifically to how they do it with houses, actually de-incentivizes death. You know, what level up on this? Wolf warrior, that's what it was. Means, you know, if you make it where things are easier for people to utilize, but that's just another area where King's Isle just doesn't make sense. Like, give us the tools, give us the means. Don't make us have to sit there and beg. Maybe. Electrical punch from shells for her. Alright, let's shut down the game here for now. Well, that's a long rant, almost an hour of ranting about King's Isle, about the way they do things that just makes no sense in this game. Like, just so many, to me, it's just, if you really want players to, to me, the focus of the game should not be how do we get as much money from our players with as little work or value given to them as possible, which is currently how K operates. And it should not be how do we add things that benefit the 0.001% of the game base that are popular streamers. That's why those popular streamers, they're not bringing a bunch of new people to the game. So focusing on them is not going to get you this wide new audience. Frankly, if you want to grow the player base, you got to give reasons for players to want to play. And you do that by making the game intuitive and user friendly, and I'll put it this way, like, I would change up the entire pet system if I was KI. And this is what I would do. Alright? I would take your pets to them here, and I would make this the basis for how pets work. So instead of it being, so I would completely remove pets as this item sitting in your inventory. And rather, I would make it where you go your pet tomb. So your pet tomb, you go in there and you say, man, I like Cinnamon, an amazing pet. and you go, okay, boom, I'm going to equip that, all right? That gives you the pet that other players see. All right, so you're on your character or whatever, you know, pet you want to equip, that is the pet you have. All right. What this does, it means is once you get a pet, you have that pet, and that's all you have to do. Then I would make leveling tracked on the pet tune. So like, boom, Ember Sharon Long Pimp, it tracks up. Okay, this is baby. Okay, boom, you equip it, you go to Hatchery, you train it up. Once you level it up, those levels are permanent. You don't have to level up much. And I would additionally, I would make the pet tune tracked across all the same across all characters. You find a pet on one character, it's found in the pet tune for all your characters. You level up on one character, it's leveled up for all your characters. Like, this would actually create an incentive for you to go out there and collect pets. And this way of tracking means you train it up once, you train it up. And then I would make your abilities and stats and all that based on your pet collection. Because you can have, whenever you get a new pet, your stats go up by one. So like, like here, so like, let's add that up. Let's say with pets, a new player, they start at 1 on all stats across the board. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's what? There's 5 stats, all right? So total is 255. Where's the plus on this? 250 plus 260 plus 260 plus 250. All right, that's 1,050 total stat points. But we're going to subtract the 5 because we're going to say that's where you start out. So everybody starts with 1. All right, so you can reach these stats once you've played. Make this way. Every time you get a pet, you gain 1 stat point, and you can make where it falls a linear streak. So everybody starts at 1. First pet getting 1 strength. Second pet 1 intelligence. Third pet 1 agility. Or you can even make it where it's based on the pet. So if you want to maximize strength, you go find and collect pets that provide a strength. Either one of those ways works. And so you would get these stats once you get to 1,045 pets collected. So you go into Pet Tune, Universal. 1,281 is how many pets I've collected. Okay. Or maybe that's how many it is in total. I have to go check on my fire. Let's go to my main fire. That's why I keep myself. This is the one that's going to be the most accurate for its number of pets collected. Alright, so 859. Alright, so in the system, I would actually lose stats. If we implement a system. But that would give me an incentive, because guess what? If we did that, let's see here. This is 1281 divided by 5 plus 1. That would give you 257 stats on each one of them. So you would actually be going from this to this would be go up to 257, drop to 257, drop to 257, or increase to 257. So, that don't make sense. So 250. Okay, 1275. Okay, never mind. I must have did something wrong with math earlier. Alright. So yeah, so basically where we're at in test now would be where it will give you the stats, basically approximately where the stats are at right now, with a slight improvement. Very, what? So you would basically at this point, as you get, if you had all the pets, you would have the stats available right now as a max. And then you also make it where, unlocking abilities is based on reaching milestones, etc. Or collecting specific pets. Like you can do that in a variety of ways. And then what you do is then you go in here. Okay, I want to equip, and I want to go in there. Your available talents, and you can say, okay, we want to equip this one, this one, this one. That allows you to change out your pet how you want, and you can even make it where you can have specific pets. For example, being the Dapper Corgi, right? You can have it where the Dapper Corgi, as is, and whenever you want, you have this. You just equip that pet, and then if you want to go, so you can maintain a lot of the functionality of the current system, but make it much more user friendly, where you're not having to sit there and, well, I hope I get lucky with the manifested traits. You make it more about putting in the work rather than the luck. I think you would actually probably get more money because now you're creating an incentive to go collect pets. So now you have an incentive to go out there and hatch with other people to get the pets that you want. And that's going to give you the incentive to go and buy potions to reset your timer. Because I'm not advocating, changing the chance of getting from the system, just how the pets are stored and managed on your end. And then you can make it where if you want to go display a pet, you just go in there your house and see pets, and you can go in there and search. Okay, I want to put this pet. It's just looking through your team, say, let's put this pet in my house, and you still have the limited pets displayed. Now you're just simply displaying them for desire rather than as a way to get them out of your inventory. And then you're, like if someone wanted a particular pet, and this would also make it, because the current system only advantages really players who've been playing a long time. They have the luxury of, man, I got the good stats, I got that. Now, if I want to go get a better pet, because of it gives a better card or whatever, all I do is put in a little bit of work to move those stats over. Which I've done with, or I don't know, can't remember if I've completed it yet or just gone close. Where is it here? Oh, I think it's on my other. It's gonna be my other fire, maybe. Cause it was a fire pet, baby fire. Maybe not. I don't know. I guess I have to look for it. I know I was working on one. Whatever. I have to look for it. But, maybe it's in the. Maybe it's in my edit. But to me, that just would be a better system because now you have it where people could equip pets specifically beneficial to them, rather than this curse system. You got to go. Yeah. Okay. Ancient Flammels are. That's the one pet type, but I don't know what. That's whatever. So that's another thing. One of the biggest things that kills me, is the inventory management. And the way, especially how pets inventory management works, how housing inventory works, and how your crown shop items. You give me all these stupid potions. This new character. I'll put it this way: I have, I think, close to 200 energy potions now. 200 energy potions. Like, what am I ever going to do with those? Like, I can't even spend the energy that I have nascently. So what am I going to do with energy potions? Like, they have no use for me. And like, I just don't, I don't get it. Like, why doesn't KI not think of these things and say, hey, let's make the user experience for our players better? You know, like, why do players have to sit there and be like, and I don't know what I'm gonna do because it's just so hard to manage my inventory. You know, like, why are players having to make decisions that really shouldn't have to be made? You know, just simply because
Look,
KI doesn't want to put in the work and time and effort
answer these
to make the
questions
game
to find out what type
functional
of wizard you
for
are.
all players, not just a handful.
Now that we know what you are, what do you look like?
And I hate that they removed the male and female designation. I'm sorry, but even for people like, I mean, this doesn't work. You know, like, because even the people who are trans and all that, and like, I mean, this doesn't. I can guarantee you this isn't what they're wanting. They're not wanting for you to tell them that they're genderless. That's basically what this is saying. You know, like, this change here, you're basically saying, oh, you don't have, you're genderless. You know, like, so they're not being an ally. They're actually robbing everyone of an identity. So this malfunctions. And so, like, which me, it doesn't make sense. You know, like, why you want to just, you know, rob them of identity altogether? You know, like, it just doesn't make sense to me. You know, like, yeah, like that. That's good. Alright. Make it look like a nice first base. I also hate this new outfit. Like, I like the old. You actually
Remember,
look like Wizard.
if you
This
ever
makes
wish
you
to
look more
alter
like a
your
pirate.
appearance in the future,
Style,
All
like,
right,
I miss
then.
the old.
What is your name?
I don't have to choose my name. All my main characters are Abigail Dragonfish. It's easy for anybody to know it's me, because you hardly any. You can see Abigail Dragonfish, you pretty much know it's guaranteed that it's me. I've only, in all my years of playing this, I've only ever seen one other person use Dragon Fist. KI. So basically, KI. Please take into consideration what I'm talking about. You know, make it where you're
Well, hello. If it isn't up.
cross shop items don't count towards your inventory limit. Make housing items its own inventory where it's all with no limit. What's the other one? You know, implement this better way of doing pets.
Wizard, do you see the symbol above private colony?
You just, you know, implement these changes, make the game better, you know, and add things that you know, like, just think about, rather than think of ways, hey, how can we make money off players? Because yes, I get it, you need to make money, and I want you to make money. But if your focus is how do we make money off players, guess what you're not doing? You're not focusing on how to make players enjoy your game. When the company focuses on making the game enjoyable and fun to play, players are going to come to your game, they're going to play it, and you're going to make money. Whereas, right now the focus is like, go to these streams and listen to what some of these players have to say about the game. It's like, oh, KI, they only care about money. Their focus is on gambling packs. Like example, like I have a problem with packs in and of themselves. Like, if there was, my problem is that's the only way to get these items.
While
Like,
your character is transparent, you are safe from combat.
I would
but
buy
only
items
for a short
more
time.
often off the
Get to
Crown
side
Shop
before it wears off.
if it was, hey, you spend $2.99 or $3.99 for this pack, or 10 times the price and get the one item that you actually want. And that's what I would do. Is I would go, okay, I want that one item. Boom.
Oh,
All right.
hey there, I'm Sarah.
Or the two, like, for example, I would be like, okay, hey, my character's 150. I'm gonna give them their energy gear so that they get the plus 90 energy gear from having plus 30 in the hat, robe, and boots. Boom. Like there is, we'll say let's just run it off to 4, 8. That's 12,000 times. What was I got? 14 characters, so 12, 24, 36, 48. That's about 170,000 crowns right there. Like if you implemented that change, I would spend almost that much right now, or as soon as I could afford it, and my characters got to that level. It's approximately 170,000 minus what I've already got, which is like maybe 7 or 8 pieces. But you see that, like, you would get all that money that you currently don't get from me, because I look at it as like, I'm not going to gamble for it. I could spend $200 and not get a single piece. Why would I do that? That's not cost effective. So the fact that you rely, so your whole focus is like, hey, let's get people to gamble for it, is actually only takes advantage of the people who don't have a cost to effective sense. Like anyone who is fiscally responsible is not going to look at this. They're not going to look at this and say, "Hey, no, I want to get this energy gear, so I'm going to go gamble for it." Fiscally responsible people don't do that. The fiscally irresponsible people do that. So you need to ask yourself, how do we get income from the fiscally responsible? Well, fiscally responsible, we're going to go in there and say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to spend $3.99 on the chance for an item. If I buy a pack, it's 100% crowns you give me for free. And it's been that way since, I've only ever spent $60. I've spent $60 more money on packs, and that was years and years and years and years ago. And I was like, man, I spent $60 and I only got 2 of the 3 items that I needed after $60. And no, it's not cost effective. And since then, I've not purchased a single pack with my own money. It's either been as a gift for someone else, or through the free crowns you give us at Christmas. That's it. So I want you to think about that. Like, I'm willing to spend the money if I know I'm getting something that I want. But gambling for it, I don't get that money. And while I don't have the specifics of how many other people like this, I guarantee that there's other people who are just like me. That if it was, hey, I can go get this, I can spend $3.99 for gamble or $3,990 for direct. That one, I'm gonna do it because I get the item that I want. And you can see that I'm willing to spend the money because, like, I've done it on my fire. I've purchased the pack upgrades. I got 14 character slots. That tells you that I spent hundreds of thousands of crowns to unlock character slots. You look at here, like 400 items inventory. Done that on many houses. Like, go to the house list. I'm willing to spend the money. I just want to know that when I spend the money, that I'm getting something that I want. So, okay, these are some problems that I really suggest that you think about this and you consider it, because like, I'm not sitting here making an argument. Oh, give us this stuff for free. Give us this stuff for free. Make Wizard City free. Don't make Cactopia free. I'm not saying that. I'm not making that argument. I'm saying here's ways that you can make the game better. By making the game better, you will actually encourage more spending. For example, if you implement this idea with pets, guess what you did? You created an incentive to go and collect as many pets as possible. You made it where pets are no longer okay, once I get to that limit, I'm done. It's, hey, every time they add a new pet, I need to go get that pet because it improves my pet. This is saying, hey, every time we add a new pet, your stats can increase by 1. Guess what? Now you have a continual growth to your stats as you get more pets. That creates a need now to go and collect as many pets. Like, but part of that needs to be is you need to overall how pets overall work. Because like right now, the biggest problem with me, like where I've stopped, like you see, like the only new pets I've really gotten over the last probably 8 years has been, oh hey, here's a free pet from doing this event. That's it. I have not, or with the loyalty shop, like, oh, hey, you gotta go spend some loyalty. Okay, I'll get this pack, and you get oh, hey, I got a pet for, like those are the only places where I'm like, I'm not going out and say, oh man, hey, let me go get this new pet. This pet I'd have it collected, because I go, where am I gonna put it? Like it makes no sense. Like, where am I going to put this pet? Because there's no point in hatching for a pet to collect it and then throw it away. Like, makes no sense. You want me to collect a pet, then it needs to be where it's system that reflects it, and make it where the pet tune tracks pets you collected, pets level. And that's where you go and level your pet. Like the only thing you're really changing is how you manage to collect the pets and how you manage the talents on your pet. Because this system now you're saying, okay, all I would do is like you collect the pet, you gain a stat, and as I said, you can have it where it's just runs down the line just over and over, strength, agility, willpower, etc. Like that, or it's specific pets. Either way, one you just keep stats equal, which is what I would actually argue for, or the other one is you can use a system to manage the growth of stats by saying, okay, this pet however you want to do it. But what it does is it gets the pets out of your inventory. So now instead of having, for example, on this character, this is low. I have 9 pets on here. I got some characters with multiple pages. I think I got one with like 7 or 8 pages of pets. Because like, I don't know what pets to delete, because it's like, okay, for me to delete this pet, I need to know that I have a copy somewhere else. And that takes a lot of work, because you got to go on to okay, I want to check this pet. Go log into every single of my other tunes, and search the entire account, character, their inventory, their house, their attic, like, say, okay, do they have the pet? Like, that's very time consuming. Like, I stopped collecting pets because I sat there, I was like, man, I need to manage my pets so I know what pets I have, where those pets are, and it was like 2 days of work. It's like, literally, log in, spend all day doing nothing but managing pets. Log out, log in the next day, same thing. Literally 2 days, and I didn't even get it fully done. I was just like, this is ridiculous, I'm done. And I have not tried collecting pets since then. And I said, like, and if you implemented this, if you implemented this change, guess what? You created a incentive, and it means, hey, collect a pet. And you can even take it a step further. You could even make it where leveling the pet up gains your stats or abilities. You can make that. You say, okay, acquire the pet, gain a stat, and leveling the pets up works towards unlocking your ability. Like, there's so many ways you can tie the system into doing these particular activities. And by doing that, you say, okay, you know, now you have this incentive. Okay, you get a pet, great. Now you gain a benefit from collecting this new pet type. Great. Train it up. Now you incentive to spend your energy and spending your pet snacks on training this pet up to gain reward. Much better system than the way it is currently. But I know you're not going to do any of these changes because there's one thing this change requires, and that is that you put in the time and effort to make the game better for the sake of making it better, rather than, hey, let's do this, put in some work where the entire focus of this is directly targeted towards making money. But see, the problem, that's the problem where games get into is, oh, we need money, so let's implement content that specifically requires the spending of money, rather than making a game that's enjoyable and fun to play and that players want to play, and therefore by playing they're willing to spend money. You make it where players want to play your game, you will make the money. You can see that because even the games that are completely free rely solely on things like ads and all that. They are making money because guess what they're doing? They're getting people to want to play their game, and by wanting to play their game, they will then spend money. That's what you need to do. That's what your focus be. Your focus should not be what can we add that costs money. It's what can we add to make our game more enjoyable, that players want to stick around, play our game, and pay for a subscription, pay for items off the crown ship, etc., 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 and we make money. Alright, that's enough for a rant. I gotta get ready for work. So, I'm gonna I'll upload this as soon as I can. And I said, you know, I'm gonna try to come back in a year and show you the change in how gardening works, or even less than a year, depending on when I start seeing a significant enough slowdown that you can see that difference by comparison. Thank you.